Welcome into the Crypto Bunker podcast. We're looking at massive liquidations across the board here for crypto. So I wanted to take a look at some of these charts and we can compare them to COVID crashes because I do think that we're looking at a COVID-like buying opportunity in crypto here. I did make my last video talking about could this potentially be the top for crypto, and I still think that's in play, but at the same time, we are looking at um, basically a bullish trend here still for Bitcoin. So on the hedge eye process, which I trust a lot, we're still bullish on Bitcoin. And what you can see is there's a massive um, spread. So the volatility is high, but the lower or the higher range of where you would sell in this bullish trend is very high. And right now we're trading at about 95,000, which is where they would say to buy for this trade. And obviously everything else is bearish because it crashed through the floor. We understand that. A lot of liquidations. Let's take a look at the charts. So first I wanted to start with the Tau chart. I'm back in Tau. I know I talked about probably in a previous video about how I didn't feel like I could hold Tau because of moral reasons or something like that. But I've come around on that actually. I do think that AI needs to be open source. It needs to be decentralized. It needs to be permissionless, and it needs to be being built in the open. And just because I don't necessarily support every project that's building on there, that's like saying I don't support the internet because I don't like everything that's on the internet. So basically, I like the premise of what BitTensor is doing. I think it's important for the future that AI is decentralized. We can already see with the DeepSeek model coming out, basically what is happening with sort of that open source software and potentially being banned in the United States, which is really a violation of our rights as citizens of the world, as citizens in general, to not be able to use DeepSeek potentially. So there's a lot of issues with AI, and OpenAI has really been, sort of morally bankrupt in a lot of ways with what they're doing. A lot of AI safety people have left the company. They've become a for-profit company. So there's a lot of issues there. And I think if you can get the right incentives with AI, you can, in some ways, create a level playing field. You can also have more people participating in the upside rather than just a bunch of private investors, people who are in the private. BitTensor is something that is being built in the public. Everyone has an opportunity to invest in it. Everyone has an opportunity to gain an upside from it. And they're coming out with dynamic Tau soon. So there's going to be about 64 projects, or there already are, that are building on BitTensor now. And those 64 projects are all going to get their own token. The unique thing about it is that basically, with BitTensor, the unique thing is that there's a liquidity pool, but I think you can only do it through Tau, basically. You can only have a Tau paired with the other token. So it really forces people to buy Tau, and it really forces people into the BitTensor ecosystem. So anyway, I carried on a little bit with that. I apologize. So what we can look at here is we have about a 50% crash in Tau in only 3 days. this is similar to what we had in July and August of 2024. It's also similar to what we saw in Ethereum, not this time, although Ethereum did crash 35%. Um, and so, it feels like a very much a final liquidation on Ethereum. I get it. I know I talked about Ethereum before and it didn't work out for the short term. So, but it will work out for the long term, I think. None of this is financial advice. Obviously, be safe, stay in the majors, don't leverage, all that stuff. Um, so yeah, ETH crashed about 63% in only maybe 5 days during the COVID crash. Um, and you could even, if you pull that to the top, which I didn't do for BitTensor, it's 68%. But if you just pull from that, which I think is similar to BitTensor, it's about 63%. BitTensor is about 50%. So you could also look at the time frame, which is interesting. Between here and this liquidation, we have 444 days. And so if we bring this down to basically to the where this is the Ethereum chart on top of the BitTensor chart, and if we bring the liquidation into play in a similar fashion, we can see we have sort of a similar chart pattern. I know it's not exact, but we do have a double sort of top and then a crash. We have we have this amount here. We have up here we go down just like here, and then we come up, and then we liquidate, and then we go. And it's basically the same amount of time. With ETH, it was about 458 days. With Tau or BitTensor, it's about 444 days. We then liquidated, and then now obviously people are buying the dip pretty heavily here for sure. So we can look at Bitcoin as well since it's still bullish trade. Obviously, this is a place that the Hedgeye process would recommend to buy. And we didn't make a lower low. We tested the 150-day. We still haven't crossed bearish. Again, we did cross bearish here, and that was the bottom. We haven't even really done that yet here. So there's a lot to like here. We're still in order for the weekly moving averages. We're not even close to being at the 20-week moving average. And we're not really fully wide yet. And so, this got closer to the 20-week, and it probably, in all reality, will be after, a few weeks, this will probably look like it did test the 20-week here. We could say it's on a steepening curve a little bit more than that even. So we could say that, we kind of tested the 20-week here a little bit. And now we obviously didn't. But, to me, that's about as close as you can get. And it looks bullish to me. And I actually think that the Trump tariffs and everything, I think it's possible that the dollar is the reason that this crashed. People rushing into the dollar. And now we can see the dollar, if we look at the RSI, is actually putting in basically a double top and a lower RSI. And this is actually the chart of the first Trump administration, which we saw a massive top here. We saw a similar double top, lower high that also went off of this, moving average, which we're seeing here. So it's actually very similar. And what we saw here with the Trump administration was the Bitcoin rally. So this whole thing, just process playing out the way that we liquidated everyone, makes me super bullish for Bitcoin and for the future of what this could bring. I think that what Trump knows the situation. He's not dumb. He is a very smart person, and he understands that the tariffs have to go into place for it to be a negotiating tactic. And so to me, what you can see, I mean, even if we look at the time frame here of the dollar. So if we look at the dollar and the time frame, it took about 159 bars or days to get from this chop zone um, to the rally. And then here, it's about the same. Um, so, it's crazy to say, but what if, the rally, um, let's actually even look back to ETH as well during this time. So what we have on ETH when Trump was elected, basically we see a liquidation in December of 16 after he was elected. But you can probably put this over with the dollar chart and you can see a recovery in January. And then in February, we took off. So I think it's a potential that we could see a very similar thing here play out for Ethereum. Ethereum, obviously, on the weekly, is testing the 200 week, which we know has been support throughout this entire bear market, if you want to call it a bear market. You could probably call this entire thing a bear market. It took about 1,000 days. It shook a lot of people out. And now I think we're perfectly positioned at this point to rally off of this. I'm interested as well to see where gold and silver are. I think it's silver is really flirting with some nice weekly closes here. And it's looking to close above the 20-week moving average. It closed below and it tested, but now it's sort of pushing up against it. You can see in the past for silver, sorry, it's taking a little bit of a long time to load. But we can see the last time it rallied, this, we lost the 20-week here. We pushed up against it. We lost it. So it's not something that is unexpected exactly. We probably have to flirt along a longer time with it. I also think that usually with silver, we have like about a 5-year process, right? So every time we've rallied, it's been every 5 years. And I'm looking at 2026 as the potential topping point where maybe we hit, 42. That's kind of my target, but we could have a blow off top. You never know with silver. I think the gold rally is different a little bit. But the gold is obviously making a new all-time high. It's a rush to safety for a lot of people. To me, I would expect, we topped in 2011, we topped in 2020. It's hard with gold. I mean, it's really there was a rally in 08, there was a rally in 06. So maybe it's, along the same lines. It probably chops a little bit around. It probably goes up from here and then chops around. I mean, you could see, let's look at the time frame here of basically this bottom to the top was about 1,000 days. And then we take this bottom and we put it out 1,000 days. And we're looking at October 2025. And then, for silver, it topped, let's see, if it was September 2011, September, September, okay. Well, silver actually topped, interestingly, before gold, which means it would really have to get on its horse to do that. So I don't know. Silver is a weird one. So yeah, appreciate you guys sticking around for that. So, So yeah, I think this is a pretty good buying opportunity for a lot of things, really. Um, and so yeah, I mean, we could look at total T as well. Total T looks like it tested the 20 week. This is the total crypto market cap. So this is actually super bullish to me. It looks like it tested the all-time high as well. So we can look at the all-time high weekly close, and it was a perfect test. And we really haven't done that yet. So not only did we test that, we tested the 20-week moving average, and we were just starting to cross bullish. This to me is actually very similar to here. And so if we look at the similar returns, which it's never going to be the same returns, but let's just see if we can map this a little bit, um, in terms of a time frame. Not really, but if we did it like that, um, it's looking like a 20 trillion top, which honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at an outperformance. I know that, you know, it's um, it's tough to be bullish in this scenario, but um, but this is when you sort of have to get bullish in a lot of cases. And to me, it looks very bullish actually. It's because when you crashed through the floor here, you were below the 20 week, right? So if we were topping, like let's say we were here, right? And let's say, this looks sort of similar to this, right? It's a flat top. It's a higher highs that got pulled. Then we came here, we got rejected, and then we just crashed straight through the floor. But now we're getting, this is just the initial reading. Now, what I would say is what you want to do is you want to look at, does this thing close below the 20 week the next couple weeks ever? Does it ever close below the 20 week? If it does, what you want to do is you want to wait for it to come up, test the 20 week on the outside. That's where you're going to sell. If it's not coming above that, you're going to sell and you're going to say this cycle is over. Um, and that's pretty much what you need to do. Now, I know this happened here, but you could say maybe that really wasn't even a bull cycle yet. You could say that it was similar to this flagging here was this. And, obviously we came through the moving averages here. So, this actually sort of, and you could, call me crazy, but let's just take this for a second. Sort of looks like that a little bit. If we're looking at basically this area here, you could basically compare it to this area here, and then you could see, that's like a 450K top. I'm not sure that makes sense necessarily, okay? Because obviously we've had big topping patterns and then we have a lower pattern right here. So is that similar to this? Is this similar to this? That's pretty much what we're watching for. We want to test the 20 week. We want to make sure the 20 week is okay. And that's pretty much what we're aiming for here. This is a futures thing that I follow because my retirement account it's not in Bito, but it's in a different different thing. I was selling some towards the top, and today I'm going to be buying some back. So I probably was selling around 102, 103, 104, and now I'm going to be buying back. So yeah, things are looking good. I'm pretty positive about this market. This is a nice weekly hammer candle on Tau. I'm not sure if it's a reversal. necessarily candle. We could look at some of those and just see if any of those are popping up. I do have to get going in a second. See if we can get off the RSI. So nothing there yet. So, oh, there's something. There is something interesting. So right now we're popping a candlestick reversal on Tau on the on Binance. We already popped one here, which is it's rare that you do this, but for Binance it's been very rare. You haven't put in any candlestick reversals or tops whatsoever. I also like this chart. We have put in candlesticks and they haven't worked out before, but this to me looks very good. I really like the way this looks. So this is making me very bullish. Hopefully you guys got something out of the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.